Hey guys, this is Spartacus here, and welcome to another video where I got some prop hunt gameplay for you guys in Call of Duty World War II. I know all of you already know that prop hunt is now a thing in Call of Duty World War II because of the Resistance event that we have going on, but I thought I would cover it here on my channel anyway and just talk about it for a little bit. But keep in mind, I'll also switch to some other gameplay and talk about some other things about the Resistance event that is going on and just kind of my own personal thoughts on it. So anyway, I didn't expect Sledgehammer Games to actually add prop hunt into Call of Duty World War II. I was a little surprised by it because I thought it was a very unique game mode that was added into Modern Warfare Remastered, because prop hunt actually originated from Call of Duty 4, the original Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and it was originated by the PC community. They made it as like a mod in the game and something like that, and then it like carried on to like Gary's mod and something like that, which I don't even know if people play Gary's mod anymore, but yes, it carried on to like that game. And I guess in Modern Warfare Remastered, Raven Software, they decided to actually make prop hunt an actual game mode, which I thought was a genius idea. It was actually only a temporarily game mode at the time. It was a weekend warfare kind of playlist sort of thing, and then they made it a permanent game mode because the community like was asking for it to be a permanent game mode. Basically, the Raven Software and Infinity Ward, they actually did a poll on Twitter or something like that, or like they did some sort of retweets or something like that. They're like, okay, whichever gets the most retweets of the slasher game mode or the prop hunt game mode will become a permanent game mode in Modern Warfare Remastered, and prop hunt won by a long shot. And so now prop hunt is a permanent game mode in Modern Warfare Remastered. But now here we see it in Call of Duty World War II. But right now in Call of Duty World War II, it is not a permanent game mode. It is only temporarily during the Resistance event that's going on right now. And I'm sure it will become a permanent game mode like down the road. And if they do make it a permanent game mode, I'm sure they'll make it like a permanent game mode like near the 4th DLC, like near the end of the game's life cycle when the new Call of Duty game's coming out by Treyarch or something like that. So I'm sure prop hunt will become a permanent game mode here in Call of Duty World War II, but we're gonna have to wait a while. I'm pretty sure it will. We're just gonna have to wait, just like we did in Modern Warfare Remastered, but that's just my own personal opinion. But we'll have to wait and see though. So anyway, prop hunt in World War II. What makes it so unique and different about it than what we see in Modern Warfare Remastered? So first of all, let's think of the similarities, right? So first of all, you start off as like, or actually there's two different teams, right? Of course, we have the hiding people, or the hiding props, I should say. You're an actual prop, you hide around the map so enemies can't find you. And of course, the other team are like the hunters. They have the guns. They're the ones trying to kill you, you know. They're trying to kill all the props in like this, in a certain amount of time you have in one round and stuff like that. So yes, that's pretty much all the same. You can change your prop twice, I do believe. So you can be 3 different props if you wanted to. But a thing that is actually different about World War II compared to Modern Warfare Remastered's prop hunt is that you can actually put duplicates down, which is quite interesting. And if people don't really use the duplicates as they're intended, I mean, it seems like a lot of people are actually starting to use them as they're intended, but you'll see people place duplicates in like the most obvious spots, right? But the reason why they do that is because they know they're gonna earn some like bonus XP if somebody shoots it, you know. But it's kind of like a win-win situation. If you place down, let's say you're a prop and you place down a duplicate of yourself, right? A duplicate of yourself, which is like a bucket or something. If the enemy shoots that duplicate, they're gonna earn bonus XP for shooting that duplicate, but the person who placed down the duplicate will also earn some bonus XP. So it's a win-win situation right there. So I can see why people put their duplicates in the most obvious spots just so they can earn like bonus XP. So I don't know, I think that's just quite interesting, but I actually use them as they're intended. I actually place like my duplicates in certain hiding spots, so that way enemies might actually think they found someone, but really it's just a duplicate, and I think it's a lot better system that way than just placing them in like the most obvious spots just to get XP off of it. But there was actually quite an interesting thing about the game mode. So when the game mode was first released in Call of Duty World War II, you could earn a crap ton of XP. Like you could probably earn an average of like 50,000 XP per match, which is absolutely insane because 50,000 XP is a lot of XP. And so then Sledgehammer Games had to reduce it down a lot, so now you don't earn as much XP anymore, which I think really sucks. Another thing about prop hunt is that the larger object you are, you will also earn bonus XP for the bigger object you are, which I think is actually quite awesome in all honesty, because bigger objects are typically harder to actually like hide, you know. Like for example, on the map USS Texas, you can turn into a giant AA gun gun, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. I don't know where the hell you can hide an AA gun on the map USS Texas and get away with it. There's absolutely no way you can get away with an AA gun on USS Texas, but nonetheless, you can turn to an AA gun on that map, and that's considered like a large prop, right? And if you survive for at least 10 seconds with it, then you'll earn some bonus XP, which I think is pretty nice. Another thing about this game mode, which I think was kind of interesting, I'm sure a lot of you who have played the game mode have already realized this, that Sledgehammer Games added an Easter egg onto it where if you're on the attacking side, of course, after the the beginning clock ends, the attackers, of course, have to wait 30 seconds and their screens are completely black because the props are trying to hide. If you keep pressing the Y button or the triangle button or whatever the button you use to actually switch your weapons with, if you keep tapping that constantly, your gamer tag will go up on the screen and you can race other people's gamer tags and try and get the first, second, or third place spot, which I just think is hilarious because my friends and I, we have done this so many times where we would actually try and race our gamer tags up to like the middle of the screen or something, which I just think is super fun to do. But enough with prop hunt here. What else does the Resistance DLC actually have? Or excuse me, not the Resistance DLC, but the Resistance event that is going on. So of course we got some new weapons. We got the Volkssturmgewehr, which is considered to be like overpowered or one of the best rifles or best weapons in the game itself. I personally have not unlocked it yet. I'm still working on the Orso submachine gun to try and unlock it. I could actually unlock the Volkssturmgewehr if I wanted to. I do have enough armory credits, but I personally am just saving them for later. I don't really want to spend them right now, and so I'm just going to unlock the Volkssturmgewehr later throughout the special order challenges. But the Orso submachine gun is considered to be bad for a lot of people, but honestly, I've heard some people say that the Orso is actually a pretty decent gun. You know, it's not the worst gun in the world. It just gets time to actually get used to it, you know, but a lot of people seem to not like it compared to the Volkssturmgewehr anyway, because the Volkssturmgewehr seems to have a high popularity vote right now. And of course there's also a new pistol in the game, but the only way to acquire this pistol is if you prestige the Resistance Division, which is a new division added from this Resistance event, which I think is absolutely awesome because anybody can use the Resistance division if they wanted to, and the Resistance Division focuses on pistols only, and I think it makes a lot of sense for them to actually do that because if you look at the infantry division, it focuses on the whole concept of assault rifles, right? You look at the airborne division, it focuses more on the submachine guns because you can acquire a suppressor on it. Then there's like the armored division that focuses on light machine guns, and you have the mountain division that focuses on snipers, then you have the expeditionary division that focuses on shotguns. So why not have a division that focuses on pistols, which I just think is absolutely awesome. One controversial thing that's going on about the division is actually the idea of having sort of a scrambler perk on. So if you level up your division high enough, I think it's like level 3 or 4, I think it's level 3 that you level up your division. Once you get to like level 3 of your division, you have like this sort of scrambler effect. So if you're nearby enemies, if enemies are nearby you, their like mini maps will become scrambled. But the controversial thing about this is that when enemy, like for me for example, when I'm playing Call of Duty World War II, if my mini map gets scrambled, I know for a fact that there is an enemy nearby because my mini map's getting scrambled, right? That's what the Resistance perk does. So it's kind of like I don't know, it's not really a useful sort of feature on the Resistance division itself anyway. It's just giving the player themselves away, honestly. And so I think they're going to change it later on. A lot of people have suggested other things like on Reddit of what they can change it to, and Sledgehammer Games has actually seen these recommendations on Reddit themselves, and they thought they were pretty good ideas, so I think we can see the scrambler effect actually going away in the near future. But nonetheless, the new pistol you earn is by prestiging the division for the Resistance anyway, the Resistance division. I totally said that weirdly, but yes, if you prestige the Resistance division, you get yourselves a new pistol, which I cannot think of its name, and I don't know how good the pistol actually is. I've seen people use it in hardcore mode, but of course then again, every gun in hardcore mode is like very powerful because you can kill someone in like with one bullet across the map. But yes, nonetheless, there's a new pistol in the game, which I think adds a great variety to secondary weapons. And so, yeah, those are really all the weapons. Of course, you can get weapon variants for these things and try and earn some more bonus XP for using those variants and stuff like that. And there's also a new melee weapon. I think it's a trench knife. I could be completely wrong, but I think it is a trench knife that you can unlock through like special order challenges or maybe through a supply drop or something like that. But Yeah, the Resistance event is pretty awesome. I didn't expect them to actually add an event for their new DLC coming out, and maybe they're going to do this every time a new DLC comes out. They're going to have like some sort of event for that DLC with like some sort of special supply drops you can open and new collections you can get from the like Quartermaster. And I don't know, I really like what they're doing with the supply drop system in Call of Duty World War II, and they're adding a great variety of during these special events, and how most of them are like, actually all of it is cosmetic only pretty much. But yeah, I think they're doing a great job with it. Another thing that I actually didn't notice, I never saw any YouTube videos on this, but the 1v1 pit is different. If you actually go to the 1v1 pit, they actually changed the layout of it from when you go in it. And also, if you guys have been in the 1v1 pit, you would know that you can ban certain weapons, so that way you and the other enemy can't actually use them. What's kind of interesting is that one of the options is gun game for 1v1 pit, but the only thing I don't like about it is that it still goes up to 3 kills, so you can only acquire 3 different weapons when you use the gun game sort of like system that you choose when you play the 1v1 pit. And so I just don't really like how it only goes up to 3 kills still once you choose gun games. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I don't know about the layout though. I have to get used to it, you know. I'm so used to the normal 1v1 pit layout, but this new one, I mean, it's not terrible, I just got to get used to it. And what's kind of interesting about the new 1v1 pit layout is that you could, in the very middle of the map, there's this truck, and you can actually go into the back of the truck if you wanted to, and I just think it's so funny that you can do that. But nonetheless, the 1v1 pit is different. There's also an Easter egg in the headquarters, where if you like acquire all these transmission devices in a certain amount of time, or well, actually they disappear every time you like try and activate one, then a giant plane will go over the map or go over the headquarters map, and it'll like drop all these resistant flags, like paper, flyers, some sort of themed resistant paper, I guess you could say, which I just think is kind of interesting. You don't get anything out of it other than it looking cool, but I still think nonetheless it looks cool. And also, this is probably going to wrap up the video right here, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a rating for whatever you guys feel this video deserves, and of course subscribe for more videos later in the future whenever I make them. I know I've only been uploading like 2 videos a week, and I totally apologize for that, you guys. I'm trying my best to actually make much content as possible. My only problem is that the dorm room I'm staying in, once I talk into my mic, like my dorm room has like this terrible echo, and it just, my mic picks it up and it just sounds terrible, and so I have to go somewhere else to actually record my content. And so there, I don't know, it's just very, very frustrating. And maybe I'll live stream, but of course my mic quality is not going to sound very great because my room echoes all the time. So anyway, just stay tuned for live streams. I might do some Fortnite, or maybe I'll do some Call of Duty World War II, but just wait and see. But nonetheless, like this video if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment down below your opinions on Prop Hunt and the 1v1 pit, or just the Resistance event in general. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more Call of Duty videos later in the future, and I shall catch you guys later.